sorority were known as the hottest girls on campus, making them Elliot Rodger's #1 target. After not being able to enter the woman's house, Elliot went on to kill 6 people nearby amidst his frustration. The reasoning behind this attack? Elliot blamed women. Being a 22-year-old virgin who described himself as the ideal magnificent gentleman, it was unfathomable to him that he had never even kissed a girl. BBC 2015. While others haven't gone on murderous sprees, countless others in this recent generation face a similar issue of not having intercourse. This is a trend that has been increasing without a nearing end. New York Times 2023 suggests that Gen Z could be the last generation to experience a growing population, with our children witnessing the dramatic and unprecedented declines. First, I'm going to talk about the process of possible reasons for the sex rate's decline. Second, I'm going to discuss the motivation of past generations' surge in sexual activity. Third, I'm going to discuss what the future looks like if this trend continues and how it could be saved. Before the attack, Rodger had uploaded concerning YouTube videos and posts in online hate forums. The internet plays a critical role in the decline of sexual activity, facilitating online dating, parasocial relationships, and porn addiction. Online dating has shifted interactions from face-to-face to virtual, reducing physical intimacy. Rosenfeld and colleagues, PNAS 2017 described that with the growth of online dating, start quote, traditional ways of meeting partners through family, in the church, and in the neighborhood have all been declining since World War II, end quote. With online activity only increasing since then, this fact remains true. Due to this generation substituting in-person connections for online relationships, the decrease in sexual activity will remain. Another reason for this decrease is parasocial relationships. Kim and colleagues, Behavioral Sciences 2023 revealed parasocial relationships lead to fans feeling enhanced intimacy through continuous exposure to celebrities. Lily, the Oracle, 2022 recounts her past parasocial obsessions, reflecting that it was more than love. It was being consumed. Rather than forming real relationships, individuals prefer to stay indoors, delving in delusions, preventing potential sexual interactions. The final contributor is porn addiction. Sissa Jenksy and colleagues, Sexuality and Culture 2023 found that frequent pornography usage is linked to a reduced interest in intimacy, a diminished sexual satisfaction, and a decreased sexual performance. Riken, Independent Journal 2023 shares actor Terry Crews' testimony of battling through over a decade of porn addiction. He recounts his addiction leading him to cheat on his wife, start arguments, and get upset at his own kids for getting in the way. This is an example of what many experience as they often find themselves compulsively choosing porn as a replacement for sexual activity. Elliot Rodger engaged with an online community known for their shared hatred and hostility towards women. These people call themselves incels, or involuntary celibates, a term coined in 1997 by a woman named Alana, who created the community to support those struggling in finding relationships. BBC 2018. Reflecting the past, one can see how innocent actions inadvertently have unpredictable consequences. First, I will discuss previous sexual freedom movements. Second, the 1950s accessibility of the car, both of which boomed sexual activity, making it even more suspicious for the sudden decline. Between the 1950s and 70s, after winning the Second World War, in the midst of celebrations stemmed various sexual freedom movements. Bump, Britannica 2024 explains that from 1946 to 1964, the population increased by more than 50% when compared to the population in 1945. People in this era pushed for sexual freedom through various movements, increasing both sex and birth rates. Furthermore, Furthermore, the invention of closed cars created mobile privacy. Soriano Hernandez and colleagues, Sexuality Research and Social Policy 2020 detailed that, in the past, the rich who own cars represented social status, freedom, and most importantly, an opportunity to escape from the crowd. The invention of closed cars created a newfound privacy that increased the sex rate. Interestingly, the first pornographic movie ever made was through a 1915 short called A Free Ride, which majorly took place in a car, according to IMDb. After committing the horrendous act, Roger then crashed his car and committed suicide. However, his legacy lives on in the forums where men idolize Roger and his actions. Looking at the future, with men not being able to find counterparts and birth rates being such a severe concern, certain countries have resorted to begging their citizens to have more sex. Without compliance, humankind is threatened, which we will first discuss. Second, we will discuss what researchers think may be an odd solution to this problem, a new invention, the driverless car. Without sex, less babies equal less minds. New York Times 2023 states that in a world with fewer people in it, there will be a loss of human potential. Without sex, there will be less strong minds with the ability to create new cures, innovations, and discoveries for mankind. Luckily, with new inventions, it is hopeful that the sex rate can increase, an example being the driverless car. Knoll, New York Times 2024 describes the rides through Waymo, a driverless taxi service, as magical, given the complete control of surroundings through music, temperature, and other functions. Some people like Megan, a woman in her 20s, take magical to the next level. Lynn Wester, the San Francisco Standard 2024 describes Megan's experience of having sex in a driverless taxi. Her accomplice, Alex, mentioned engaging in such activities on several separate occasions. There has also been numerous reports of others having intimate encounters within these robotaxis, giving hope for the future as these new inventions could lead to an increase in the sex rate. First, I told you about possible reasons this generation isn't having as much sex. Second, I described past generations' surge in sexual activity. Lastly, we took a look at what the future holds if this downward trend continues and how it could be saved. Yet, there are still many unknowns as to why the sex rate has gone down the past few decades, specifically with this generation. Following the decreasing sex rate, unstable men, urged by a shared hatred against women within online incel communities, ultimately lead to people such as Elliot Rodger to want to cause harm.